Hey everybody, brand new Cabral Concept for you here today. Can't wait to get into the top 10 signs of low magnesium. We've talked about magnesium in the past, but truthfully, it is one of the #1 nutritional supplements that we see as a deficiency in our practice. Now remember, inside of our practice, ever since I was unwell many years ago, I have relied now on at-home functional medicine lab testing to truly tell people what it is that they need. So I hate having any guesswork inside of natural health. We just don't need it anymore. So I'm a big advocate of all different types of natural health, but you can test for these things, right? So when you look at an issue within an individual, maybe it's inflammatory, there's headaches, there's migraines, there's low mood, there's low energy, there's skin rashes, there's whatever. Could be all sorts of deficiencies, right? Could be all sorts of deficiencies or toxicities. Well, how do you look for magnesium? Well, for magnesium, you can run something called the minerals and metals test. You can't just run blood work. Blood work is great and everybody should run it once a year to look at a dis-ease state, but it's not often looking at a tissue level, a functional level. Your calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium will almost always be perfect on blood work because if it's not, there's a serious health issue, but that does not mean that it's optimal. That is why magnesium is one of the top 15 nutritional supplements that functional medicine doctors, over 10,000 functional medicine doctors, recommend in their practice. So for us, running the minerals and metals test, we know that it is low for about 80% of people. Now, does it mean that they're literally at like the lowest 0 percentile? No, it means that it's functionally low. It means that they're showing signs, which I'm going to share you today, that it's suboptimal. Okay, so I want to share that with you right now. If you've never run a minerals and metals test, it's a couple snips of hair. That's all that it is. It's very easy to complete. What I'm going to do is, if you've never run it before, give you a great way to get started with that with a great discount today. And you can go to stephencabral.com/3140 for that link to that lab test. But right now, I also want to share with you the top 10 signs of low magnesium. Maybe you're starting to show these. So let's get right into it. The first one is this: poor sleep. That's my #1. If you're exhibiting an anxious mind at night, hard to turn that mind down, that absolutely could be a sign of low magnesium. Now, there are always other factors. Could be high cortisol. It is absolutely true. But sometimes we have high cortisol because we're stuck in the sympathetic nervous system. So there's a feedback loop, right? And what happens is magnesium helps to calm that fight or flight or that sympathetic nervous system. So that's the big one right there, poor sleep. The second one is anxiousness or overall anxiety. Of course, we're not providing any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis, but anxiety is a big one. So it's not just the mind racing at night. You're overly worried. You're overly overwhelmed, right? This can be a big one, and that could be a sign of low magnesium. The third one is poor recovery from exercise. I never knew this. I'm a high school, I want to use the word athlete loosely, high school athlete, got into college, and then I was already full-blown Addisons disease, rheumatoid arthritis, type 2 diabetes, POTS, all sorts of autoimmune issues. I didn't know until 27 years old that my magnesium levels were that low. I had no idea. That was one of the things that Dr. Pete, my mentor, helped me with by running one of these specific labs. Poor recovery from exercise. I was always inflamed, always constantly inflamed from exercise. Magnesium helped with that. Was it the only thing? No, but it did a tremendous job at helping to balance those calcium to magnesium levels. All right, the fourth one is stress. Yes, we all get stressed. I know that. But if you're in a chronic state of stress, two things happen. One, you are most likely depleting greater levels of magnesium. You're depleting B vitamins, you're depleting magnesium, you're depleting zinc when you're under stress. And vitamin C, I could go on, there's a couple more, but like those are the big ones. But magnesium is certainly one of them. Here's the problem. You start to deplete your magnesium and you feel even more stressed because you're stuck again in that fight or flight based response. The fifth one is this. It doesn't necessarily have to relate exactly to exercise. That's why I kept it separate. But muscle cramps. So if you're getting cramps in your calves or even eye twitches, eye flutters can be low magnesium. I've given this obviously just free advice to people. Oh, I'm getting eye twitches. Have you tried something like full spectrum magnesium? 2 capsules at dinner, right? Maybe 3 maximum. Have you tried calming magnesium 30 minutes before bed for sleep, right? These things can be really beneficial. Okay, the next one is this, and because again, how do muscles work? Well, I won't go too deep into the physiology right now, but your muscles literally, I'm going to use the term rollover. It's a little different than that, but the actin myosin, these fibers move over each other. And you need a balance between calcium and magnesium. And if there's not enough magnesium, because the storehouses aren't like calcium in your body, which you can get from bone anytime that it needs, what happens is that magnesium isn't there, and we can get oftentimes this muscle-based cramping. All right, the 6th one, along the same lines, but muscle and joint weakness. If your muscles are feeling weak during workouts or just weak walking up the stairs, it's at least worth looking into magnesium. The 7th one is feeling fatigued or tired all the time. Now, that might be many different things. I don't disagree. Could be your B vitamins, could be chronic toxicity-based issues with heavy metals, gut issues, etc., food sensitivities, but fatigue is a big hallmark of low magnesium. So let's mark that in there, because again, if you're getting poor sleep, if you're anxious, if you're not recovering well from exercise, if you're stuck in fight or flight, which magnesium is needed for, right? Then that's going to wear you down. That's going to make you fatigued. So there's no doubt about that. Constipation, that might be one that you're not necessarily thinking about. For that one, I definitely recommend the calming magnesium. The full spectrum magnesium is still great. Calming magnesium will be an even better one for constipation. The products that we use are from Equilife, but you're welcome to use a good functional medicine brand of your choice. I can't link those up because the FDA, FTC do not allow you to link up good quality nutritional supplements, even when they are guaranteed and they do what they say they're going to do through scientific research. But anyway, you can't do that. So you can find anything that I use in my practice at stephencabral.com/shop. You can look at the full spectrum magnesium. Usually people in our practice use 1 at lunch, 2 at dinner for many of these symptoms. And they may also add on the calming magnesium before bed as needed for sleep. Okay, so, or constipation, as I was just saying. And again, you can use your favorite brand as long as, again, it matches up and it has that third-party research as well. Now, number 9 is this. We're starting to get a little bit more into the medical-based zone, not providing, again, any medical advice, but there are many people out there. And I would venture to say the majority of people with high blood pressure are suffering from low levels, functional levels of magnesium. I would say the vast majority. Now, is it the only thing that you need to fix high blood pressure? No. But it will go a long way. Why? It's relaxation of the arteries. It's relaxation of the blood vessels. That's what magnesium helps with. It's the opposite of constriction, right? With just high blood pressure. So a really important one to look at. But of course, seek medical advice whenever medical advice is needed. And number 10 is this, an elevated heart rate. So if you were to do a little Google search, you'd say, hey, what's a normal heart rate? The old Dr. Google will tell you anywhere between 60 and 100 for a resting heart rate. That is a wild range that is completely inaccurate for an optimal level or healthy level. Yes, you could have a resting heart rate up to 100, but the issue is that means your body's working really hard at rest. Anything above, I'm going to say, mid 70s to high 70s at rest is an elevated heart rate, in my opinion. Not giving you medical advice, but I can tell you for sure your body is under stress. And I don't have to come up with any wild research to show you that your heart rate, the more elevated it is, the more stress you're under. Let me give you an example. When you are sprinting, it's at 100% of your max heart rate. When you move into zone 4, it's at about 90% or so. We move down to zone 3, it's at about 80 or so percent. Zone 2, 60 to 70 or so percent, right? Like, why? Because you're increasing stress in your body. So if your heart rate is above an 80 when you're sleeping or just at rest in a seat, it just means that your body's under a little greater stress. Your goal then is to find out, why is my body under greater stress? And you can figure that out. Remember, everything has an answer. One of those may be you lack, just from a functional level, magnesium, right? And so what I want to be able to do is bring this type of at-home lab testing, but also self-assessments like we just went over today, to the world. Because if we know more about how our body works and how to fix it, and that there's always an answer beyond just pharmaceuticals, then what we're going to be able to do is change this generation and many generations to come, the way that they treat their own bodies, how they're able to take control of their own health. So if you've never run your own minerals and metals test, I absolutely invite you to do so. We'll link it up here if you're watching on YouTube. For everybody else, head on over to stevencabral.com/3140. We will put a link to the minerals and metals test, also called the HTMA. And for anybody else who's not able to run that lab, you can go through today's assessment. If you think you may have low magnesium, it is up to you. It's your body, your decision. You may head on over to stevencabral.com/shop. Check out full spectrum magnesium or calming magnesium or both. You can decide to purchase it from Ecolife, or you can use a good functional medicine company of your choice. Hopefully today was helpful. Once again, head on over to stevencabral.com/3140 for this list of 10 different symptoms. And of course, if the show was helpful, do feel free to share it with anyone you believe it could serve. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.